Imagine a future where your toaster doesn't just know how you like your bread, but has feelings. Are we ready to face that? Stay until the end, and let's explore together if the day will come when we have to grant rights to our machines. Today, your toaster simply heats bread, but what if it could think? What kind of toast do you prefer? How was your day? And if you unplugged it, would that be considered murder? It may sound absurd, but artificial intelligence is no longer just science fiction. It's here. It handles your shopping, customizes your ads, and even writes stories. But what happens when machines become smart enough to demand something in return? Where do we draw the line between a tool and a conscious being? If a robot can suffer, do we owe it rights, or are we just programming future problems? The philosophy of rights has always revolved around consciousness. But what is consciousness? Some scientists believe that any sufficiently advanced system can develop it. So, could your toaster one day feel alive? However, here's the thing. Rights make sense because we feel pain, pleasure, and emotions. Our brains evolved to avoid suffering, which is why we created laws to protect ourselves. But a machine has no fear, no pain, unless we program it to have those things. Would that be ethical? If we program robots to feel pain or injustice, we're creating a dilemma. We give them consciousness, and then we unplug them. Would that be murder? Or just flipping a switch? Would we be forced to respect them the same way we do humans? Imagine a courtroom debating whether dismantling a robot is equivalent to taking a life. Are we ready for a future like that? Many technologists believe that a technological explosion will occur once artificial intelligence can learn and create its own AI, ones even smarter than itself. At that point, the question of how robots are programmed will largely be out of our control. What if an AI finds it necessary to program the ability to feel pain, just as evolutionary biology deemed it necessary for most living creatures? Would robots then deserve rights? But perhaps we should be less worried about the risk of super-intelligent robots turning against us and more concerned about the danger we pose to them. Much of our human identity is rooted in the idea of human exceptionalism, that we are special, unique snowflakes, entitled to dominate the natural world. Humans have a history of denying that other beings are capable of suffering as they do. During the scientific revolution, René Descartes argued that animals were mere automatons, robots, if you will. Thus, harming a rabbit was no more morally repugnant than hitting a stuffed animal. Many of humanity's greatest atrocities were justified by the belief that the victims were less human, more like animals than their civilized oppressors. Even more troubling is our economic interest in denying rights to robots. If we can force a sentient AI, possibly through programmed torture, to do our bidding, the economic potential is limitless. After all, we've done this before. Violence has been used to force humans into labor, and we've never struggled to invent ideological justifications for it. Slave owners argued that slavery benefited the enslaved, providing shelter and teaching them Christianity. Men opposed to women's suffrage claimed that it was in women's best interest to leave difficult decisions to men. Farmers justified the early deaths of animals by pointing to the care and feeding they provided beforehand. If robots become sentient, there will be no shortage of arguments insisting they remain without rights, especially from those who stand to benefit. Artificial intelligence raises profound questions about philosophical boundaries. Asking whether robots are conscious or deserving of rights forces us to confront fundamental questions. What makes us human? What makes us deserving of rights? Regardless of what we believe, this question may need to be answered in the near future. What will we do if robots begin demanding their own rights? And what can robots seeking rights teach us about ourselves? We're at a crucial moment in history. Technology is advancing faster than we can understand, and the ethical questions it raises are bigger than they seem. If machines become advanced enough, will we be ready to redefine what it means to be alive? What do you think? Leave us a comment. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think machines should have rights if they become conscious? Drop a comment below and share this video if you think this debate needs more voices. Can we reach 7 million people to join this conversation? Let's do it together. The toaster revolution has begun. As